What's something you learned from having roommates? That everyone has a different understanding of clean and cleaning. A lot more people than I realized have had their parents, maids, caretakers do almost everything for them. People's normal schedules are all over the fucking place. Good friends do not always make good roommates. I learned how to cook very nice meals from scratch from having roommates. Whenever I had frozen dinners or something like that, they would steal them and eat them, leaving me with nothing, and would never replace them. Buy raw ingredients instead. And they wouldn't put out the effort to do anything with them. It's better to have frequent small conflicts and confrontations than to let things go and pile up in your mind. Like, hey, do the dishes. Not you do the dishes for weeks and then now you're genuinely mad. If you want to control how all things in the house are done, i.e., cleaning, you will discourage others from helping and end up responsible for everything that needs to be done. If at all possible, always make sure you have a plan in case things suddenly go south. You cannot always trust the other person to do what they are supposed to do. Like pay their portion for bills. You cook for yourself, you clean it. Others want to use the kitchen too. The word clean has a very wide spectrum of interpretation. Even though I clearly told him not to, my first college roommate would borrow my clean underwear when he failed to do laundry and return them dirty, especially after a date. Lesson learned reminds me of a famous phrase from Shakespeare's Hamlet. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. People are fucking disgusting. Roomie went half a year without washing his towel because I'm always clean when I use it. Clearly define expectations from day one. I wrongly assumed we would all just clean up after ourselves, like one does, and more or less split general duties like mowing the lawn, whole house cleaning, vacuuming, sticking around to meet repair people, landlord, etc. I started doing all that general stuff because they simply wouldn't care. Not before long it became a big point of contention that harbored animosity and would come out at other times during any sort of little disagreement. At least I mow the goddamn lawn. Quote, that the roommate's girlfriend passed out on the floor from what you assume is a heroin nod as you leave for work at 3 a.m. may actually be a corpse. Don't move in with fun people. Thin walls ruin sleep. We were going through tremendous amounts of toilet paper, and I couldn't figure out why. Apparently, there's a thing people do where they put a third of a roll in the bowl before they do their business, to make a nest, so there's no noise of splashing or whatever. Solving the mystery of the toilet paper was not one of my most profound discoveries. I hate being around people for extended periods of time, and privacy is the most important thing in the world to me. Pretty sure I lost a friend because he thought I hated him after we moved in together. I would just spend all of my time in my room avoiding him because I needed a break from socializing. Lol. The richest, most clean-looking people can be an absolute mess. My housemate, a first-year lawyer still paying off his student debt, was a really good lawyer with an expensive suit on the moment he stepped out of the door. You would trip if you ever entered his restroom however. Lucky he never used the kitchen. No matter how nice your roommate's girlfriend seems, even if she talks to you about how she doesn't like his new frat's history of SA to show just how decent she may be, she could be arrested and convicted of first-degree murder at any time. If you left money for the food you ate, the other person still has to go to the store again to buy what you ate. Even if you pay for it, it doesn't mean they're cool with making the extra trips to go get the food they were relying on being at home. Never pick a new roommate based on sudden time pressure. Like a previous choice backing out. We had someone change their mind about joining our house share and decide to move back to their home country, and we picked one of the other people we'd seen but who wasn't a first choice. Because we'd start to be responsible for that room's rent in less than a month. Big mistake. The guy we went with instead turned out to be a nightmare flatmate from hell. Who stole from us, etc. And we had to conspire with the landlord to pretend that we were all getting evicted so that nightmare guy would move out. He left owing us over £800 in unpaid rent and bills, and we were still just relieved to see the back of him, covering the rent for the empty room for a few more weeks while we looked for someone better in the first place. Would have been way cheaper and less stressful. I was a long-term member of a house share, and I picked people on the basis of explaining that we were friendly but did our own things and weren't living in each other's pockets. That there was an expectation to keep the noise down at night or the neighbors would complain. That we kept common areas clean, etc. And I would also imagine what the person would be like to have a disagreement with and whether they would be livable with. Don't ever room with a couple. You'll be outnumbered in every argument. And when they fight, the entire apartment turns into a war zone. People that are lactose intolerant will risk their life for good mac and cheese.